So more and more recently, I've been having comment after comment of people asking me about my recommendations for some safe blind buys that'll kind of work where it's still kind of hot in some places and definitely work well for fall. So here I compiled 10 fragrances that'll fit that bill. Here's what my opinion would be 10 safe blind buy fragrances for this time of year. Stay tuned. So like I said, some of these will work well on days when it's still kind of hot, still kind of warm, and days when it's kind of cool, even into the cold weather. And starting off first is going to be Dior Homme Sport, the newest formulation. This is one that just works in any situation. It's never a bad time to smell fresh, citrusy. It's got a creamy sandalwood to it. It's just a beautiful scent. Love this fragrance. It's very, very good. This is one of the immediate thoughts every time anybody asks me about a safe blind buy that's just pleasing, not going to offend anybody, and you're bound to like the way it smells. The blood orange in this one is beautiful. It actually, for being a sport fragrance, it's citrus dominant. It's a solid performer. 7 to 8 hour fragrance. I would say 6 to 8 hours depending on how it reacts with your skin. With my skin, around that 7 hour range until it becomes a faint skin scent. It does project pretty well for the first 2 hours. Roughly arm's length kind of range. You have a pretty good scent bubble going where people can smell you pretty easy, and then it sits relatively close to the skin after that. Definitely smells great. Kind of a not really underrated fragrance in the Dior Homme line, but one that not really a lot of people talk about these days. Definitely a safe fragrance, a good fragrance, and it's not really that expensive from discounters. First recommendation would be Dior Homme Sport. Next, this is another one that's just soapy clean, fresh. It's a little creamy, just smells good, doesn't project too heavy. Very, very safe scent. From Prada, it's the original Luna Rossa. This is just a do-it-all fragrance. It's clean and non-obtrusive, and what I mean by that is it's not really gonna get out and grab somebody. They kind of got to get within range to really smell you. Works well on a casual day, day off, just wearing a t-shirt, kind of like what I'm wearing today, on into work attire, and you can even dress it up. It's literally about as versatile as they come. Can work in every season. Not really going to pierce through the coldest of weather, but like I said, it's versatile. Not overly masculine. It's got a little bit of spice, but very aromatic up top. Moderate performance to moderate low. It's not a real strong performer, but like I said, it's pretty much the definition of a safe fragrance. I've never heard of anybody saying it doesn't smell good. I've never heard of anybody saying it offended anyone when they walk by them and smell them. About as safe as they get. Prada Luna Rossa. This one, in my opinion, is one of the best releases of 2020, especially for a versatile blue fragrance with a lot of green herbaceous qualities to it. Very strong violet leaf, a little bit of rosemary. It's got a lot of things going for it. And it's a very good performer as well. It's from Salvatore Ferragamo, their newest release, Ferragamo. You can find this around $30 from discounters. Beautiful atomizer. And a beautiful fragrance. It's not reinventing the wheel. If you've smelled violet leaf heavy fragrances, it's going to remind you of a lot of different things without smelling exactly like something else. You know, it kind of does its own thing without breaking the mold or going too far outside the box. Definitely pleasant, very pleasing. I thoroughly enjoy the way this one smells. Gotten a few compliments when I wear it. It's definitely got a little bit of a compliment factor, but it's more on the safe side. It performs pretty well without projecting too much or too little, and it lasts long enough for a work day without being in the beast mode level, or not enough to where you really have to keep it with you to refresh, at least for me on my skin. And it's bang for your buck. It really is a do-it-all fragrance for 30 bucks from discounters. Very safe blind buy in my opinion. Ferragamo, from Salvatore Ferragamo. Next, this is actually one of the best releases in the Chrome line. It's from 2019. I have not tried Chrome Extreme, so I can't say one's better than the other, but from what I hear, that one's pretty good too. But in my opinion, it's pretty hard to beat Chrome Aqua. Very, very safe blind buy. It's aquatic, it's fresh, It's a little herbaceous. It's a decent performer, you know, in the moderate range, kind of what you would expect for a chrome fragrance. Summery, you know, works well enough in the cooler months to where it kind of brings out kind of that mintiness that's in there, comes out a bit more and has a cooling effect. It just kind of changes a little bit in the cooler months. Definitely not one that I'm going to reach for in the winter, but you know, definitely a good 3-season fragrance in my opinion. Spring, summer, fall, they'll definitely get the job done. 30 some odd dollars depending on the size of the bottle and where you want to get it. Kingdom Fragrances usually has a good stock. That's where this one came from. They're always linked in the description in every video if you want to check out what they have to offer and what's currently in inventory. Just a great fragrance. It really is. This is one of the few aquatics that's in this list because I didn't want to just flood it with aquatic fragrances. That's an easy answer. Just something fresh, clean, and aquatic. That's an easy answer. I wanted to give you a few other choices. So this is really the only real heavy aquatic in this list because in my opinion it was the perfect one to put in a video like this. Once again, that's Zaharoff Chrome Aqua. Next, this is another release from 2020. One that's starting to gain a little ground, not really getting hyped up, but one that more people are starting to give attention to now that it's hit discounters and it's more readily available to get your hands on under retail. Definitely a very blue fragrance. The color is very fitting of a classic DNA, a safe DNA. It's Yves Saint Laurent L'Homme Le Parfum. Very blue fragrance. Like I said, it's an iconic DNA, very safe, good for work, casual days. People love the way L'Homme smells. And the performance is disappeared over the years from L'Homme. Well, this kind of fixes the performance issue and adds a little bit more depth, adds some geranium, kind of changes it a little bit without really busting through the DNA and making it a completely different fragrance. It's a lot deeper, it's very rich, and like I said before, very blue, without being just an ambroxan bomb. You know, I believe there's some amberwood in here that really shines through without being just too overpowering of an amberwood scent, which is, you know, kind of just a woody take on ambroxan, essentially. But it doesn't just smell like an ambroxan bomb. It does have other characteristics going for it. Like I said, with the geranium, that's a really strong present note in this fragrance. One that you need to give a chance. And the reason I say that is because if you ever liked L'Homme, you're bound to like this one. This is a safe fragrance. It's versatile. It's going to work dressed up, dressed down. Every season. It performs enough to work in the cold, not so much that you can't wear it in the hottest of summers. Just works. It smells good. It's going to get the generic tag from some, but I think it stays true to the L'Homme line and the original L'Homme DNA in itself. I would definitely suggest this one to you as a safe blind buy, and that's L'Homme Le Parfum. Next, this is one that I have not talked about in quite a while, and one I actually haven't worn in a while. And I need to pull off. I plan on wearing it real soon. It's actually my favorite fragrance from Lacoste. In my opinion, the best fragrance from that house that you can get for around $30 from discounters. It's the original Lacoste Homme, the gray juice. It's got a rum note. It's got a plum note. It's got some strong woods. It's a very good fragrance. Solid performer too. Decent projection up top. Last you a work day. That is saying you have a 7 to 8 hour, 9 hour work day. Very, very good fragrance. The rum, the plum, and the sandalwood, that's what stands out the most to me. I even smell it up top, and it doesn't really transition a whole lot. It's relatively linear until you really get into that dry down where it's just mostly wood. Very good fragrance. 30 bucks will buy you a 100 milliliter bottle like this. 50 mLs around 20. It's tried and true. It's been around for a long time. It's great for work without, you know, smelling too boozy, because I know I said it has a rum note, but it's not overly boozy. It's very well blended, very designer-esque, you know, relatively synthetic without smelling too cheap. Does have a bit of a compliment factor. People will enjoy the way you smell. You're not going to offend anyone. It doesn't project too much. You're bound to like it. It's a good scent. It's been around for a long time now. It's sold a lot of bottles. A lot of people wear it because it's a very good fragrance. It's a very safe fragrance. Lacoste Pour Homme. Next, this is one of the most beloved fragrances on the designer market. Probably the most popular Burberry fragrance for sure. Most people have a bottle of this. It's from Burberry. Burberry Touch. Beautiful violet leaf fragrance. It's a little citrusy up top, powdery, and woody. Compliment factors there. A lot of longevity. Projects pretty heavy in the first hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on your skin. I'm more so in that 2 hour range. It's familiar because it's been around a long time. A lot of people wear it, and for good reason. If you're not sure what to buy and you want something that's just going to work, that you know you can't go wrong with, one that most people are going to tell you you can't go wrong with, it's going to be Burberry Touch. And I love having the 30 milliliter bottle because it's funny to me because the cap looks exactly like the actual bottle. Now obviously it just gets longer and longer as you go 50 ml and 100 ml, but this is just hilarious. This has nothing to do with how versatile the fragrance is. This is just funny to me that the cap looks just like the bottle. I just think that's hysterical. But I digress from my point. The fragrance itself, great on a casual day, great for work. Versatility is a big part of why people like this fragrance. It's just pleasing. You're bound to like it as long as you don't mind a mildly powdery fragrance, because it's not overly powdery. You'll like Burberry Touch. So this list seems to have quite a few newer releases, and this is definitely one of those. And it's one that didn't wow me at first. I knew was a safe bet. I bought it blindly, as I do with a lot of fragrances, and it grew on me really fast. I started to find a real appreciation for how good this fragrance actually is if you give it a chance. You know, it's not that it smells bad at first. It didn't wow me, but it started to wow me as time progressed. It's from Ralph Lauren, Polo Red Eau de Parfum, the newest release in the Polo Red line. It's citrusy. It's got some ginger for some freshness, some fresh spice. It's that Polo Red DNA, just deeper and richer. Performs. Compliment factor, I can assure you based on experience, is very high on this one. My wife loves the way this one smells. A couple co-workers told me how much they like the way this one smells. And it's just floating in the air. They're already at discounters. You can already, like a week after launch, they were already at discounters. Not hard to find for a good price. Very safe blind buy. Youthful, yes, because it's sweet and fruity, but it's not overly sweet. I feel like this is a good balance between the intense versus the original, because the original is very sweet, fruity, and youthful, whereas the intense has more coffee, and the cranberry really shines a bit more. This is a happy medium. In my opinion, a fantastic blind buy if you're looking for something where you can just buy it, you get it, you spray it, you're going to end up liking it, people around you are going to like it, and you can wear it for any and every occasion. It's not the safest fragrance in the world because, like I said, it is a little fruity sweet. You gotta like fruity sweet, but in my opinion still warrants it being a safe blind buy. Polo Red EDP. Now, nothing naturally minty about this one, but I'll tell you what, it does smell really good. Moderate performance, nothing special, but it's from the Hugo Boss line, the Hugo line. Hugo Iced. This one's been talked about a handful of times for sure in 2020, and for good reason. It's a great cheap fragrance. Because it's a synthetic mint, it's extremely pleasing. The natural mints are a little bit different. The way this one's blended just smells really good. It's a safe bet. It'll work in any situation. It's one of those fragrances that's just crisp, clean, and minty fresh. Yes, I said minty fresh. Not minty fresh like some spearmint gum, but almost. Because like I said, it's not as sharp of a mint because it's such a synthetic mint. It just works. They're cheap, $20 to $30 depending on the bottle size. It's a safe blind buy, guys. Please take my word for it. Have no fear when ordering Hugo Iced online. And last but not least is another appearance from a Zaharoff fragrance, only this time it's from the Homme line, from the recent pack of 5 that's come out over the last 18 months or so. It's not Naughty Leather. Not Amber Fever, it's not Wild Mint, and it's definitely not Hot Pepper. That could leave only one, and that's the famed Ginger Lover. Now, disclaimer, if you don't like ginger, this is not a good blind buy for you. The name indicates it's a ginger fragrance, so you're well warned with the name of the fragrance, so you know going into it if you're going to like it or not. Because it's ginger dominant, ginger, vetiver, and lime. Simple note breakdown, Very safe fragrance, very good performer. I think it works year round. I think it smells great. It's been hyped up, and I think it's well worth the hype. I think it's absolutely a fantastic fragrance, and one that you can have no fear buying online. I feel you don't even have to sample it. You know, based on the name, it's a ginger fragrance, and if you know you like ginger fragrances, buy away. Definitely one of the better ginger fragrances from the designer market that's out there. It really is. It's cheap. They're in the $30 range for a 100 milliliter bottle like this. Like I said, it performs well enough to do everything you need it to do. Casually, on up to a suit and tie, summer, fall, winter, spring. The last safe blind buy on this video, Zaharoff Homme, Ginger Lover. Well guys, that's my 10, and until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. How many of these do you agree with me on? Obviously, there's several other fragrances that could be in this video, but a few of these are the first ones that come to mind when somebody asks me, hey Ross, what's a good safe blind buy? What can I just buy it and not need to worry about it? You're confident I'll like it. A couple of these come to mind immediately. For example, Prada Luna Rossa and Dior Homme Sport. That's why they're the first two that I talked about, because it doesn't get a whole lot safer than those. In my opinion, a lot of good fragrances on this list. I hope this was a helpful video for you. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these and you give them a spray now, who knows? You might end up thanking me later. I hope so. Have a good one, guys.